Check, check, check. All right.
And same thing. Well, like, let's see, we got channel 10. If you guys all kind of have different questions, or I know like we kind of went through, like feel free to ask anything, and again, I'll try to answer as directly as I can.
All right. So, Forrest, what is going on? Tell me what happened out here today.
So good morning. On this holiday weekend, we actually have a friendly little visitor. So we found a bear that had kind of come over from the Oldsmar area and found himself up in a tree this morning here in Town and Country.
And is that typical for this area?
Not so much typical for this area, but typical for this time of year. So bears have a tendency in late spring, early summer to start looking for mates, and they will generally travel from whatever their home base is, and they will travel around and kind of look for different areas and food and partnerships. So bears generally from about year 1.5 to 2 years will have a tendency to leave where their base or their den was.
So you're unable at this time to say if it's a male, female, or what it is?
Unfortunately, at this time, we're not able to determine the sex of the bear. It's still up in the tree until it comes down. We can get a better look at it. And so, no, we're not able to identify that at this time.
What is Fish and Wildlife doing to lure the bear out of the tree?
So one of our big focuses is making sure that we do a humane and a live capture. So right now we're trying to entice it with treats. So we do have our cage set up, but there's a variety of foods that would be of strong interest to them. But it's very warm right now. So this is kind of like a relaxing time for them. So most likely it won't come down till later. But the other part is the people. So we're very disruptive. So when you see a bear in the wild, you want to keep distance so it knows that it's kind of safe. So right now it's warm, it's relaxing, you know that it's a safe place up in the tree, but later in the day his stomach will probably take over and we'll come down to where the treats are.
What kind of treats are there in the truck? Do you know?
We have an assortment of pastries. Apparently they do like their pastries. But while I say that, I want to reiterate to people, we do not feed in the public. We are doing this solely for the purpose of doing a live trap. We would rather have them come down willingly with motivation. We don't want to be using a tranquilizer.
When you get the bear down, where will you take him? Where will you go then?
So when the bear comes down and we're able to do a quick assessment on it, most likely it's going to go to somewhere like the Ocala National Forest. We really strive to make sure that they can go to a place where they can find a new habitat and a safe location, along with safe travel, being away from people.
We just saw that Hillsborough County Sheriff Office posted a video about a bear walking on Hillsborough Avenue last night. Do you know if it's the same, and then do you know where did he came from?
So there is inquiry about a bear that was seen in the area. We believe this is the same bear that traveled around. Initially this morning we thought that there was two, but based on the starting point and last night's sightings, we believe this is actually the same bear.
Who called?
A lot of times these are seen by the public, so somebody may see it in their neighborhood, so they called their local sheriff's office or law enforcement agency. But we do have our hotline, and if people see bears, there is, like for example, bearaware.org, where people can go report information, along with our tips hotline, where people can call it in for FWC.
Go ahead.
Do you know around, I don't know exactly, but around the weight of the bear?
Unfortunately, I am not a biologist, so my knowledge on bear anatomy and sizing, it's a good sized bear, so it's not a cub, but weight, I have no idea.
Is a male?
At this time, we're not able to determine while it's still up in the tree.
When people see something like this, what does Fish and Wildlife recommend for people and residents to do? Because everybody's curious and kind of went under.
Absolutely. We're here in Florida because we enjoy the outdoors, but that also means that we have to be respectful of outdoors, meaning that when you see wildlife, keep your distance. You want to give it a wide berth. You don't want to be giving it food. You don't want to be treating it. You don't want to give it water. Allow it to do its natural progression. So for example, in a situation like this, if this hadn't been reported or kind of brought to the news attention, it would come down on its own and then continue to travel on its own. And so we ask people, be safe. Stay a safe distance away. We want people to enjoy and know that there is nature and wildlife here, but we have to let it do its thing.
And make people aware that mostly this area, maybe there's not a forest, but it's an area that there's a lot of vegetation, trees that they can come by, right? Like people get scared, but it's something that can happen, right?
Absolutely. So a lot of people have the misconception that just because there's housing, that means that there's nowhere for wildlife to live. In fact, there's lots of little pockets of woods and tree lines and areas where they can actually set base and like have a den set up. So they will often transition or traverse from one location to another, which is what most likely happened here. They were in the process of looking for food or a mate, and they were traveling, and they're like, oh, this seems like a lovely neighborhood, which of course to us is very populated, but to a bear, they're just trying to find a nice area to relax and have a good time.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm here kind of throughout the day, so if you get requests for other sound bites, other things, other questions, or if they come up with questions that I can at least research for you guys, I am not a biologist, I'm law enforcement, so if there's something I can at least research and get for you guys, let me know what I can find for you. Good to see you again.